So now we move to writing to a file. This section is going to be shorter because a lot of the code is exactly the same and what you've seen already. There's going to be a couple switches because we're writing out to a file. But other than that, the same scenarios play out. The one thing it is a little bit different though is remember that when you're reading in from the file, you had to look at the file, see what the pattern was, create the code from that. Here, you are creating the pattern in the file. You're the one writing out to that file, not just reading in this time, but writing out. So you're probably going to have some type of format that you're going to need to follow when you're writing things out. But that's all under your control, and it's going to look exactly like you would in printing a statement, because think of this. In reality, remember that connection that we're making between the program and the actual file itself. It's called a stream. Well, think of two things here. So I'm going to have two things pop over my head. A monitor is a stream. It's connecting from the program and connecting through that stream using the print command and printing it into your monitor. A file is exactly the same thing. It's just a different avenue than a monitor. It's still that data going, well, back and forth, but we're now writing it to a file using, again, a different stream. It's the same idea. But it's going to use two commands, or so you should say a different command than print. It's going to use the write command. So instead of read, there's a write. There is a read line, there's a write line. So notice how everything's a little bit, vice versa. Let's put it that way. So that's what's going to happen with writing for a file. Here is some examples of what could happen. And again, think of the write as basically like your print command, except for I need to have that out file because that's that stream that would connect from your program to the file itself. So we need that out file dot write, and then you'll notice the rest of the examples here. Here's another nice one. Here's a write. But by the way, notice at the very end, the write is that \n, and we talked about that being we know it's a new line character, but that'll show up as invisible on the file, but also then really actually move the next data that we put in there in a new line. So use your print stuff, your same exact print commands that you've been using the whole time. You're going to use it for your write commands in writing data out to a file.